because while I found his teaching, one thing I remember about his teaching is that it was what government is now trying to do. When Kulaba taught me in 1993, the teaching style he used then is what government is clamoring for now. A style of provoking your learners into thinking than you feeding them on everything. Provoke them to say out what they know and simply improve what they know. I have said openly and always that his teaching style made me the man I am today, and for that I'm forever grateful. Welcome to the Hot Cup at 9.
Thank you.
And I'm glad that I have an opportunity to have you here.
Instead of the hot cup, I have a cold bottle.
A cold of water. Oh,
but okay. It will do.
It remains a hot cup at this time. And your show today will show who I am.
Oh, who I am.
I mean, if a teacher is here, the one who taught me, it means that people will know who I am. Kale, how is Buyende, the district you lead?
Good morning, our viewers. It is culture and humility to greet the viewers.
Okay.
Should I tell them that I am what you said?
Yes, if is there anything to deny?
Because I want the people of Buyende to hear that.
Yeah,
yes. That is what I am.
There are some small villages I avoid saying for purposes.
I'm lucky that from Ubukanaku I can sit here in this studio.
Magnificent.
Grandeur.
Oh, that's the word.
It's a better word. Buyende nungi.
Mwebale.
Tulikola.
How does a district led by a teacher perform that poorly in PLA and UCE? That the senior teacher, David Kulaba Isabiri, is the RDC of Buyende, and the scores, the academic scores, are so embarrassing. Is that not ironical?
He is one of the leaders. And before you confirm that it is ironical, you must first assess, was there any better performance before than this one you are talking about in Buyende?
Tell me.
The answer should be no. The answer should be no. This is the best so far they have produced. And that means it is an improvement from what it has been. And a sign of hope that there is a future for Buyende as far as education of their children is concerned.
So you're happy with the performance?
Realistically, everybody should be happy with any achievement so long as it is positive, not stagnant and not negative. When I nkola eky'omukaaga n'ekyomusanvu nali kwebuka Kandeeri primary school ekiyunga mu constituency ya Mugabi Kisuule. Headmaster wange yali ni Mwami Patrick Kabi, and he was very good at caning. But when stringing a P7 like this, first test Jokola sets the mark that you will never go below. Because first test infuni nsanvu, throughout the year, never get nsanvu again, and never go below nsanvu. You go below nsanvu, you are caned. You get the same nsanvu, you are still caned. So even if you added one mark
on your 70, to be 71,
it was an achievement that one had to be proud of.
Okay.
That is what it is.
I'm surprised you're satisfied with that achievement. What, as an RDC who keeps interacting with the communities, accounts for those huge number of failures in our schools?
In our schools, you are looking for someone to blame for it.
Not someone necessarily. What accounts for? If you say someone, if it is someone, if someone says someone, but I'm looking at what explains that performance.
As a teacher, you would look at what contributes to the performance of a child, generally.
And what's that?
1, the teacher.
The teacher.
2, the parent. And 3, the learner.
Only that?
The 4th one would be the environment within which.
But why are you not avoiding government in the picture? That has a constitutional obligation.
Doesn't the teacher represent the government?
That's what you, can learn from.
The teacher is employed by government, and therefore he represents the government.
So the teacher is government in the school?
Yes. If the teacher is well facilitated by what you call government, he will do the work. If he doesn't know, if he doesn't do it, then government has failed. Era ife abasinga bungi titweringaku ng'abazaire titulingana ku mwana. Aye tulingirira muki?
Musomesa.
Government yaimeremererwa n'abasomesa tebakasobola akola ki? Kusomesa. That is it. But everybody has a part to play. Omulimu gwe iwe omuzaire kukoba mwana nti jja ku isomero, omukobere n'ekyayi kujja okukolayo, omuwe n'ebikozesebwa ku isomero eyo. Abasinga bungi okoba omwana nti jja ku isomero, and he goes or she goes there, nti agiire ku isomero. Bwamukobye kujja akolayo ki? Nothing.
So bwe mukana nti jja ku isomero, you must add.
You must add kyali kujja okolayo.
Jja ku isomero osome. Okay.
So bw'atuuka eyo atyama mu class yataayo attention kubanga omukobye kujja akola ki? Kusoma. Oba oli awo n'eiggulo bw'anaabayize oyidda kumubuuzaaku nti osomye ati musomye ki? Bewakolanga wareni yakubitiramu wena akakola okay kamboneku n'ekitabo kyo. Wowe omukobye kobe nti jja ku isomero, then bwayira tole agamubuuza oti osomye eki, because tomukobye oti jja okole ki? Osomye.
Mukobye jja ku isomero yangu okujja ku isomero.
So it is a duty of omuzaire okushapinga omwana okusinzira ku by'omubonamu. Kiki kyalowooza okuba in future maafune direction y'okukola ki? Okusoma. Omuzaire abasinga bungi.
So you are deliberately trying to avoid the role of government. Well, let us look at government.
I'm not avoiding.
The
role esooka. Ey'omuzaire kuba niwe ozaala omwana gwe kutwala ku ki? Ku isomero. Abasinga bungi okoba tujja ku isomero. Ekyokubiri jja bugiyenga gazira kyolina kyonna, ebitabo azira, ne peeni azira, oluusi ne uniform azira. 3 n'okulya tolowooza nti yandiriire neyaba ku ki? Ku isomero. That one is in Buyende. Kiriyo. Kuba Buyende wendi kwogerera. N'okukoba obukoba oti mukoba abaana bajja ku isomero. Kyona kyenda mu force. Bakali kufuna kinonereze ky'amaani ino ky'abaana kujja ku isomero. Wayagana nga aba bayire baba wakanga tibajja ku isomero. Almost benda kuwagana abajja ku ki? Ku isomero.
Was it different in Sironko where you started from? Because you were first deployed in Sironko.
I was first deployed in Sironko namalayo emyezi 3. The observation was almost the same, because there are some similarities between Buyende and Sironko.
Let us look at infrastructure. In terms of infrastructure, how has government performed in Buyende? I'm using Buyende as a case study. Infrastructure and the other
human
learning
infrastructure, physical.
Let's look at physical infrastructure.
The physical
classrooms, the chairs, the desks.
In Buyende, the physical infrastructure is okay. Abaana basomera mu bizimbe biriye Buyende.
Sure.
Nti ninze gwe yese ninze ndi kukoba nti biriyo ate bwendi musomesa oyinga kyensobola okusookera ku tinjira awantu ku studyinga environment yakola ki? Ya kusoma. amasomero gali y'amazimbe era eno taamu yakatandika aye eriyo n'ebibiina ebiwera 8 ebiri kumalirizibwa bande tembi commissioning wanaja nakola ground breaking. So as far as infrastructure is there, ebizimbe biriyo, basic diri abaana batiyama ku basics.
Teachers houses?
Ekyo tienda kulimba. Teachers houses tidio ba baliwo ab'omukisa abalinaddo aye nga basobola okuba niwe bavuira bayida basomesa.
So dizirayo? Enumba d'abasomesa dizirayo?
Nkali kudibona nga nedandi baire kusinzira ku population.
Is it something you have addressed with your government?
It is something
or
that...
does it matter anyway in delivering good grades?
It's not in the short term. It is not in the short term. Tienda nze kulimba.
What do you call short term? 37 years of government is short term?
Ndikukukoba. Tinzo okuba inatuuka ebiyende tiddaako anti mu myaka 2 bonna abazimbi enumba ez'abasomesa nga ninze nkirese ninkyogerako. In the long term it can work, not in the short term. But we have to ensure that abasomesa bayinire bavua bayida bakola ki basomesa. Era oluisi kyona kireeta mu obuzibu nti because of that oba olina okurecruitinga from the very district. Ofuna omuntu avuire okumpi aida akola ki asomese ng'ayikuviira waka instead of okufuna avuire Embale oba Sironko nga suppose okupangisa enumba oba okumuzimbira. So in the short term that is working.
Staffing levels?
Eyombi. I have to admit it. Staffing levels mbi. Because you not tuchira nga isomero erina abaana 9 erina abasomesa 7 nga erina abaana 9 niwo omusomesa awo omanya kyekitegeeza. Aye kizibu kyaba nti esente endowooza the recruiting nga zizirawo recruiting abasomesa kubanga since last year when agirayo there were 40 slots allocated to the abasomesa to be recruited
in Buyende district.
In Buyende district.
Has the recruitment
up to today? The recruitment has not taken place.
Why?
That means that gap is still there because the money to do it is not there, I'm told.
So if you are in government like you are, which of the two do you think is most important? Having enough teachers and their teachers' houses for their welfare, and then having the classrooms and desks. Which one should come first?
What do you normally cry for first?
Grades.
Grades. And grades mu baana abali comfortable okusoma ofuna grades so they suppose to be comfortable.
Yes.
That's what we think.
And the grades are delivered by
that's
the teachers.
What we think ku mulembe guno. Kuba Simon we wedukira bulungi ku St John oyinza okwidukira nga nakusomekezaako mu muti.
Yes.
Wati amawale nakola cardboard nata ku muti nawandiika empewo yakakuba kavaawo nalinda kaira nawandiika.
Olundi tiwawandika.
Didn't you pass?
Koida wayogera bwogezi.
Didn't you pass?
I did.
Iyo muzaire ga leero kyasookerako criticizinga abaana basomera mu miti. So priority yaba yakufuna bibiina ebibiina bibeewo abaana nige banaaba mu ngati buli kusoma aye nga ebibiina biki biriwo. Tidio bandi kutegereke
bulungi
nenda ntegereke kwekyo nze mu ndowooza yange omwana asobola okusomera wona yabita. Therefore comfort y'omusomesa eplayinga kinene ku kusomesa omwana okutyama mu kibiina when the teacher is uncomfortable kimuleetera obutasomesa mwana bulungi n'alibayendikizaganya niwe kwekyo.
That we first improve the teachers' welfare.
Yes.
Get then enough teachers.
Yes. Get
improve
enough
staffing
teachers.
levels to good levels.
Pay them well.
Pay them well.
Yes.
Care for them. Give them their teachers' houses, and then deploy them to teach.
Yes.
You would agree with that.
It would
so
be
is
good.
there a way that RDCs like you and others have these ideas percolate to the head of state or the Ministry of Education or anywhere, or you're simply there ngabwe mubayo mutyo?
Simon, Baliga ebintu bye tuli suppose okuba candid and realistic. Who has ever called me or us? What are these people? But everybody thinks that everybody thinks they should call. So
RDC mwami Segera, RDC ali ku TV ebeta Baba TV kwali live ate oli kumubona bw'omukubira. Please.
So mbaire ndi kukukoba nti eriyo okusolicitinga information yaba okuvolunteeringa information. RDC mpandika reports every week, every month. Naweerezayo. Era mba mpandika challenges ziri mu district ndiweerezayo. And you wait whether somebody...
You send these reports to who?
To the presidency. You have a secretariat where we belong as RDC's Office of the President.
So what does the presidency have to do with the teachers' houses, with the staffing levels there? Are you not doing the wrong thing?
No, I'm not. I'm the eye of government there.
Yes,
I'm the eye of government. That means what I see, I report, and what needs to be corrected
but
can be
but
corrected.
you cannot report schools to the presidency.
Where should I report?
Why don't you take that to the Minister of Education?
The presidency liaises with the Minister of Education.
Does it?
It has to.
Does it?
I don't force it to if it doesn't, but it has to. That is why it is there to coordinate the ministries on behalf of the president. That's why we have a full minister for the president.
This country is a bunch of jokers. Really, because I would imagine that as the resident district commissioner, when you observe something about challenges in farming, that your district is not producing enough food, you address that with NARDS, Operation Wealth Creation, and then Minister of Agriculture. When you have issues in education, you directly address them with Minister of Education. Why should it go to the presidency, where I can confirm they have no time to process that information and pass over each of them to the categories they belong to?
You have a wrong perception.
Tell me.
You have a wrong
perception. Teach me. Come the correct one.
The presidency addresses whatever issues we present together with and to the agencies concerned, the ministries concerned.
Does it?
It does. I'm telling you. It does. When the Minister for the Presidency, Emily Babalanda, is going to talk about PDM, agriculture will be there. Fisheries will be there. Finance will be there. So that she talks about things that concern them and where they are supposed to play, they understand their roles. It is happening.
Because every time I see, I have not seen an activity related to education and its improvement where Minister Valanda is participating. But perhaps I would think that is there. So if we are announcing that
you want to see Nechikulu, but there are things that are worked without you seeing. For example, when reporting the presidency never can't education then the education person, the minister gets a phone and calls permanent secretary or minister for education.
And says in this report I read
there is
here,
ABCD happening in Ruyende. Why is it happening? How best can we address it? Because I need an answer, not from the Minister for Education, but from the Minister for Presidency. Nje nampa answer gwembuza. Yeye anoni answer yeri yajindetera.
Does she really get time to do what you're saying?
She does. Minister Balanda ni wagame esimu lino namba yendi nayo n'omukubira. Yakati buyende okoba ki?
Which is true.
Buyende
okoba kyaz RDC. But does she process the information you send to address it to the relevant agencies that are supposed to cause change in your community? That's what I'm saying. That's what you are trying to avoid.
Feedback. Kitegeza nti ya processinga
But you have just told me that in Buyende you found 40 slots of teachers supposed to be recruited. Up to today, they have not been recruited. What answer do they give you?
The finances are not there. I tell you, watch the
finances.
The finances are not there.
Okay.
I tell you, the Israel. We have to wait.
Government does not have money to recruit teachers in Buyende.
Not only in Buyende, in the whole of Uganda.
Government does not have
money. Investigation, you tambule masomero, tambule ma district, dakubona ngeriyo slots z'abasomesa.
There is no money
they supposed to
recruit teachers.
Eriya abasawo abali supposed to be recruited. They have not been.
Let's concern on teachers, Mr. Kulaba. There is no money to recruit enough teachers.
There is not.
There isn't. But your government is rolling out a new curriculum at O and A level to your communities. Even when there is no Kulaba Isabire, resident district commissioner, Buyende, but also media analyst of many ngaligezako tukolera ebifamu district here. They want to know what happens in those districts. Naye bakola emirimu gyabwe okutegeera ensi yaffe engeri gyeri kulakulamu. Mwami Kulaba, let us look at the away from ebyamasomero and what you've said. When you look at the communities that you mobilize and you observe their living conditions, perhaps their income levels, do you really feel that your government has done well in mobilizing citizens to fight poverty? Because there have been many poverty alleviation programs. Now the parish development model, Myoga, OWC, NADS. And here, the readings show that a lot of money has been pumped in the communities. So you as a resident there, do you see anything to show that this money has had an impact in improving the livelihood?
You started with the wrong question.
Tell me.
To ask me whether government is doing enough or has done enough. But then you contradict yourself by saying a lot of money has been pumped. That means it has done. So have the people responded to government's effort? Ekyo nekibuuzo kyonka. Aye wabala programs ezibairewo okutandika yemu atandikira okutuuka kwene yaabwe tyeri kuyita. Government has done enough.
As the primary beneficiary.
Era sente dibairemu. If you have not benefited physically, you have benefited in the flesh.
What does that mean?
Mudita kumunwa mwadhiria. Because President Museveni abaire sente mwalia. You grow fat, but nga muzira sente munsawo. Ekyo nekisinga bunene nekiriyo. Nekiriyo. Natuke Buyende kusente them you got in the previous one me and PDM with. Inga abantu notion ya bakantu president yabo akasimo. The money was dished out to people. They don't deny that they got it, but yabagachi kasimo. And when you begin asking them akasimo ke yabaga mwakakola muchi. Zero. So Chida Chonka, they ate the money, they went and enjoyed the beer and the women.
I like that.
Yeah, that's what they enjoy when they have money. Even me, when you give me money, that's what I would run to.
Beer?
And women. And at the end of the day, next time I would be asking you for more money because I didn't put money to good use. So ekyo kiriyo government yetaire mu sente mu bantu abantu response yaibwe mu kukozesa sente tebaireyo. Nensonga lwaki recent gano baleetamu ekigambo kye bayita mindset change. Nga mind kankobe ey'omusogo oba ow'ebuyende eri stack and President Museveni esente dhaleeta buli program either kaba kasimu kakola ki kumuyenda na kumulondanga. And therefore let us enjoy that money aja kuleeta n'edindi. Walaba kubuuza galekerera gano okuleeta. What will happen to me in the future? Why don't I invest this money? Ekyo kibaire kizirayo. So ebyalo byasigala nga oba bwe byali bwe biri, despite the money that has been pumped there.
Do you do sufficient sensitization? And you as a teacher now, you know what I'm focusing on you, Mr. Kulaba, is you've been a bit more logical than the others. Do you?
To label is to divide.
But that's me.
Okay, that's you.
Have you prepared, do you think you are prepared the masses to receive this money, invest it, and to transform themselves? Because if you had not prepared Muyanga, you would not be here today.
Ekyo kikulu ino era ninze buti kinatandikira ku okubuuza, because waliwo ebintu byentaabuuzanga, because okiridde bulungi ng'aliwo yanabanga ni the I don't care attitude.
Yes.
Ng'ebitange maku tienda yakola ki kubimaku. First of all, nali tijja kusaba sente don't bampeku. I never got money from any program.
Of course, musabaku. Misara disi musabaku.
But insobola okusaba ndiko baga letinka ali kufukara disi. Tia sabaku sente edo. Therefore dali tidikola ki? Tidinge maku. Mbirano kina realizinga nti buli program either eba n'ekizibu nti ali kugireta tati amani yebuuza lwaki ndikuleeta eno. The answer would be ndikuleeta eno because ginaleta kulule ya failinga. And then question number 2, why did this one fail? Or
to say that this one improves the first one. That's what it is assumed that each one you bring is better than the first one.
It should be, but it may end up being worse if you didn't study why the first one didn't work well. You may repeat the mistakes. So
as the representative of government, do you help government study these things?
Mananti, ebintu bino tibyatuukana because 1, the sensitization was poor. 2, mwalimu okweyendeza okwaba abalikola mu ssente okuzituusa ku bantu okusinga n'abo be bali kutwalira esente. You have ever heard of issues where nti kwigombola balese sente z'abavubuka ekibiina kya applyinga miliyoni 10 babakola tulikuba 5 ayi musayiningireko. That means you go by the sente okutwalira abantu oli more interested in the money than boli kutwalira. Kitegerekeke. But no, but ozibya that gap, the thing remains the same and the results. Oideba musiru. Okola the same thing all the time but expecting different results. Tibida.
So you have to kuziba gap.
We have to kuziba this gap. Ninsonga lwaki buti wowulira ekigambo kyebazaniramu kyebeta parish development model.
I have heard. I'm yet to find out.
Sente davwa mu njira gye zipitiramu gatandika okulumuka okujja okugwa directly ku muluka.
Does that work?
It can work. It can work according to what according to what it is or what is laid down. It can
Let
work.
us look at your village, Bukanaku, where only you and maybe 2 others are graduates.
Assume that.
I'm assuming so. You bring 100 million to your parish, and they are looking at you there, and the majority of the people you have to implement this program with, if they brought a mitwala abiri, atano, badinwamu omwenge badiwasamu abakazi, how do you push 100 million to them?
Kisinzira ku nteekateeka. Kyenkobye nti ziba gaapu. Sookera mu kutoolawo mindset ekukoba nti esente ebakuwa niwo omwenge ojje ni mu bakazi. Ng'omuntu omutegeeziza ensonga lwaki yali enza okubaako n'esente ntereke nga diri yawe tali gemwaku. Kasi tategeera nti yeetaaga okubaako n'esente ediri awo nga teziri ku gemwaku. Then ajja akola ino n'okudongeraku because yeetaaga moa. So mpirano parish model antu aleka ati erwire okutandika. And I also agree inzo okwaterwire. But it is very dangerous okutola esente okudita mu muntu atali prepared. So it is better you take time to prepare the person. Waamuwa esente nga yekujja kutegeera kyali kujja kukola. Era nze ebiyende esente diriyo. aye tuli kumaliriza preparation of the minds of the people. But again,
one of the least things I expect you to do is to tell me a lie, at least. Anybody else can tell me a lie, but not you.
I don't.
There is no money. There is no parish movement money in Uyende. There is no money.
Who of us the two is running Uyende?
You are running Uyende.
Yes.
And who is monitoring Uyende?
I'm telling monitoring. Monitoring
My
Uyende.
work as a journalist is to monitor. There is no parish movement money in Uyende. I am telling you.
I bet, Simon.
How much money is there?
I bet,
okay.
Simon.
How much money is there for Uyende?
I bet, Simon. When we finish this program, I will put you in the UC and drive to Uyende. My fuel, which the government gives me. No kwizanda kwiza. No kwizanda kwiza.
That's what I've said. How much money is in Uyende as a district?
Each, not as a district, but I'll tell you that each.
Okay, how many parishes do you have in Uyende?
Each circle has 52 million so far.
Each circle in Uyende has 52 million shillings.
Yes.
And where is that money?
It's on the accounts of the circles. We have simply told them, you are not using that money until we are finished with the preparations of the mindset.
But even before you prepare them, you have already put the money.
Yeah, but the money is supposed to be there. The money is supposed to be there.
Oh, Jesus Christ. What would have come first? You prepare them and then send them the money.
And where would the money be?
In the Bank of Uganda.
Mana, ebintu bino iwe kayo olikwenda kundizayo mugap sidire.
Let the Bank of Uganda keep the money until you have prepared the masses.
Simon, in a country where equally students are your cement. Chikwe unso kuba mwempo bedroom yutayimba. Mu bino bye muri kugulira bye muri kwogera ebyo bya mabati biki. Do you really trust the Bank of Uganda?
But what's the purpose? Because money, you know, the value of money is time. You agree? The value of money is time.
Money is never late.
What you taught me in Kamas, you yourself, you taught me Kamas in Senior 3. The value of money is time. 1,000 shillings 1962 would buy a plane. 1,000 shillings today buys 2 chapatis.
If at the time you were talking to me, what you need is chapati, then the 1,000 shillings is enough to make you eat 2 chapatis. So it is never late. So, Simon, on a serious note, the money is there. This month, which is beginning tomorrow, we are going to launch.
Okay, so I want to make this statement and you correct me whether it's false or false or correct. On the accounts of ill-prepared circles in Uyende, government has deposited 52 million shillings. Correct?
Correct.
I can also state that 52 million shillings is stuck on the accounts of circles in Uyende awaiting preparation of the users.
It is not stuck.
Correct.
It is awaiting sanction to be used. It is not stuck.
The only reason it is not being used is that the masses are not yet prepared.
That is partly so.
But ill-prepared masses received 52 million shillings.
Yes, because it is in the custody of the circle. Nobody has accessed it as an individual or as a group.
The hot cup at 9, David Kulaba Isabirye, Resident District Commissioner, Webuyende, ate omusomesa wange, media analyst in that area. Do you think when you release the money finally to these people, I'm now speaking to you not as an analyst, but as somebody who taught me commerce at that level, do you think the model, like they are calling the parish movement model of giving this money to circles in a parish and asking them to prepare, spend their money will transform communities. Speak from your heart.
Can. Edi engeri ginasoma ebintu ebingi mu butono bwabyo nje nte bwe nekoba because I'm knowledgeable.
Yes.
A knowledgeable person is better than a professional. A knowledgeable person knows a lot of things about everything. A professional knows a lot of things about one thing.
His profession.
Mira nonze nkola a combination of issues in adire tagalala. Na kuumbira mu muwumbo na kanti it will work or it can work.
Tell me the economics of the parish movement model.
Singanga abantu bebukana kuba funa center. Edo. Nga bamala okukyuzinga kikiba gy'obikoleramu. Supposing we have one boy, Muyanga Simon Lutaaya, ngaba irada aganga n'okufumba bagiya. On a small scale. Yakozesako awo kulaba, yakozesa ni kalera George, nga bamuyambako okutambuza okutunda. Bwe tumuwe sente edo. Na improving na enlarging capacity yokuproducinga bagiya. Ajja kweyongera ku abendo okukola era baida bakola basurvivinga. Ai kulina ni backward linkages ida kwetaaga abalimi ba soya balime soya ajja okufeedinga
bagiya
wano ni forward linkages nti ajja kwetaaga abajja okutambuza soya okujja okola ki okumutunda. If we do that in 1 year and in the second year we do that with another person and in the third year, in the fourth year and the fifth year, will the parish be the same?
How have you increased the clientele? I can have the same bagias, Nina ye, and I produce more. How does this model increase the clientele, the customer base?
I don't think every parish is going to produce bagia. Therefore, there will be those producing others for us to buy and buying our bagia throughout the country.
Is that what you think, or that's what is in the parish movement?
That is what is workable.
Is it what is in the parish development model?
Okay, if it is not there, it can be incorporated from me. Idea, you just because when put it that every household is entitled to 1 million.
Every household?
To me, that is bogus.
Every household is entitled.
What does a million do? Ganje kwere okujja okola business okwezimba. What does it do?
Doesn't do much.
Yeah. So, how the value kulibwa. But allow the money to remain a lump sum, the call no muntu. When we didn't enterprising. Enterprise kule akozesa abandi. The following year, get another one. Because tujja kugayigala tunatuna mulundi mulalo tuli kulusuniya. Individual persons are going to become rich. And at the end of the day, those ones will join at the top. Age mulowooza nti bajja kutubedera ku lusiniya twena therefore buli muntu wafuna 1 million ku kyalo tujja kuba tugayigagaire. Stupid ideas.
It cannot work.
It cannot work. Simon ndi kubuza. Simon iwe nkuwe million. Otuka igulo tolinayo. Igulo?
Okwogera ku igulo? Give me a million.
So nga bwe tutenda ino ku breakinga itaka land fragmentation. Ekituleetera obuzibu nti singa tulikozesanga mu bloko twalikoze ki twalifunie twagabana percentages. Even here with this money, the more you split it, the more disastrous it is. You would rather sit and organize yourselves to work with it as an organized group.
That's what you think.
That's what I know.
So the economics of cash handouts that your government is trading,
individual cash handouts,
the cash outs, does not work.
Maybe I need to get back to school and study it. Mbuboli kunkoba nti cooperative, sako, nzira kigambo cooperative? Now, if you are spreading out, that means you are breaking the cooperative.
So the idea is working together.
Let it remain solid and work on an enterprise or enterprises that are workable. When they are together.
So has this knowledge sunk into the masses?
Mine down there.
What you are saying.
Mine down there. Kizibu kyange nti ondidde. Oyinza okubanga kyoba etondiddeeko oyidde nga ndi mweyagaze. Nyano bwe nafuna ORDC n'aba need time kuba alina siibanga mu kibiina. N'afuna time esobola okulaga what I can do. Nga ndekaawo n'emmotoka natandika okutambula mu community. Because I need to get to them. Tidda kubeetanga mu office right there. So whenever I go there, I tell them what I think is right. Era abandi basanafu.
Abandi.
Abandi.
Thank you. Who else are you working with in promoting the PDM?
Ebiyende.
Because today we expect a report. Parliament resumes today and we expect a report.
Eriyo focal person. Incidentally namwagananga na obbi wange ku Kira College beteki. Amweta Kabale. Is a PhD guy.
In Buyende.
Hey. Naaliyo ni focal person.
Or PDM money.
Or PDM.
Did you interact with the MPs from Buyende who have been on a PDM monitoring visit?
Baba ile wai.
Buyende.
Wanji?
Parliament yasindika wichewoire by MP or members of Parliament to go back to their constituencies and first of all assess whether the PDM money is there, to whether the masses are ready to receive this money, have been well prepared, and whether actually the accountability mechanisms are in place for whoever will receive the money. Did you have time to interact with them?
Apart from the woman MP, Honorable Annette Mary Nakato, webayo MP owundi ebiyende gwidhyako ati yabona kukulaba mu kiseera kino kyobaire mu recess oba twamitinga kutwayogeraku oba twayogeraku ku isimu aidha wane yakobera abantu.
So you have only been able to meet Mary Nakato, the woman MP for Buyende. Did you meet over PDM or about different things?
Yeah, in fact we met so many times over different things and also over PDM. Because no lunaku lunali ndikubriefinga District Security Committee ngande se focal person atukobere status ya PDM. It is only Honorable Nakatohoke.
And so you're sure that when she comes back to Parliament to report, she will be reporting from a point of...
Yeah, from a point of knowledge.
How about the others? Did you bother to reach out to the other MPs?
Simon, I have tried.
It should actually be in your interest that you pick your phone,
call
those other MPs, consult them on how you can together help committees.
Nakubira kyoto Honorable emirundi ejiwera. Because buchanja mu district timubonangako.
Honorable Chota.
But
you have tried to call him.
I've tried to call her nga ndowooza nti omuntu wayagana missed call akukubira nze bwe ntera okola tindaga ine iyo. But ku time je mazeyo tabonanga ku missed call yange therefore tankubiranga. Yes.
But you made efforts to reach out.
I did.
To her.
Era recently I told the Honorable Nakato mobilize your friends since baba lekuire kwida mu kintu kino.
Who are the other MPs from your district?
There is the Honorable Magogo.
Have you called him out?
Yeah.
You have reached him out?
Yes. Magogo in fact yaida kwewanga mu office. Then tunajja kumupira gwe gwa Christmas.
Okay.
And that was the...
So about the parish development model, because what we want...
We have not sat with them as MPs and talked about the parish development model.
The hot cup at 9, David Kulaba Isabidye, Resident District Commissioner, Owe Buyende. Let's have a short break. We'll be right back shortly after the break. Kutano ni Sir Simon Muyanga Lutaaya, kwanu gwaimwe Adam Al-Mahad Kungu, Dorini Mwesige Nilukia Mpoza, olwalero hot cup at 9, dini David Kulaba Isabidye, resident district commissioner owe Buyende district nemu ku district 12 eri mu kiketezo ekyetebwa Busoga region omuli Kaliro omuli Luuka omuli Kamuli tulina Muiganga tulina Namayingo eriyo Bugweri waliwo Bugiri waliwo Namutumba waliwo Idindaawo wabaawo Luuka wemberiyo Jendese tunagidukiranga ni Namayingo I think bona bali awo twaba ni Jinja City era nemu ku district edikola ekitundu ekimanyibwa nga Bugabula BB Bugabula like that kind of jurisdiction kulaba when you mwabali mu byalo abatembe ya president because I know you are one of those who part of the job you do is to make sure that you show the masses that Mr. Museveni is gold, is God sent, is the best leader, is a people's leader, is patriotic, Uganda's best, one and only. Am I correct?
Adjectives.
I'm trying to. You can qualify some and disagree with others. That's what I hear. I've collected all I have heard other DCs say about the president.
Okay.
Ono Katonda ne yamutuwa. Ono Olioti Malaika. Ono yenkana asobola. Ono muzaire. Omwoyo gwa gwanga. Everything. Is that part of what you trade? How have you?
Mwogeraku.
How do you describe him when you?
Aye kusinga ino mutundira mu bikolwa. Nze kasita making sure nti abantu b'Ebuyende bali kufuna service delivery. Nigenta mwogera kulina nabasekano dozi mwali nitamale mirundi ngali kukobera ati Busoga's problem is economic not political. So kasayebera bulungi tafwayo nani akola.
Do you agree with him?
I do. I do Simon. Mpe sente obono banja kubuuza nani ayikukulembera. When I can afford to take my children to school, I can afford to treat myself and my family. I can afford to eat and dress and sleep well.
And drink.
And drink. And womanize. Nja kubuuza nani alikulembera Uganda. Mbuuza tu masasi gatandise kubona kandi ekiki ekiriwo. But when there are no bullets.
Also gatiba five kwanya.
So once you have that, the president can continue ruling.
So Busoga's problem is economic. You
don't
see any political questions.
Sort of that. Maybe politics will come in because of people intending to have self-actualization. Maybe then. Otherwise, if a problem is to end up with a bulungi to pay.
Does Busoga suffer from a leadership crisis?
Busoga is suffering from leadership crisis. Not a political leadership crisis. Not a political leadership crisis, but a leadership crisis. Banaba nga tebali mu politics. Ekizibu kye tuba nakyo nti most of abandi baira abakulembeze balengera politics balumukirayo. Aye bajja kutwalayo leadership qualities ze balina ddo. Tidde bandi kutegerekeka. Mpira no baba n'ebitabuike mu politics. Baenda babize neno ezira etandibere politics byatabula ensonga. Ntegerekeke.
Yes.
Yeah. Kuba tuba n'abakulembeze. Aye oyagana abakulembeze nga batandise okwonaganira mu politics. Oyinza okwagana nga niyo babulivireyo bajja mu kanisa etandibere politics yona bakonaganirayo. Dira fucha buza mindset y'abantu kubigemagana n'okukulankulana. That is very bad.
Okay. So according to you, Buyende, you see a Museveni legacy in your area? Is there anything to be proud of that they were so in Buyende and be proud of? Twafuna Museveni, twafuna amatanga bwemukoba.
Amata?
Bwebako?
Amata gaaliyo. Mwafuna bwangeri erongosa mu handling ya amata, nga gaaliyo. And if you ever went to Buyende in the 60s, notambula mu olwaleero, you see the difference of Buyende.
That Nkondo of today is different from the Nkondo it of was. 1960. I'll have to ask him.
Echidera getwaberanga kutira college butikinga oko at bono wechidera. You almost want to cry.
What has changed then?
Huh? Abantu bavwayo nga obwongo bwebwe bukyufu bwako okusinzira ku bwe bwali kulule. Tokayagana wa Chidera n'omudoosa ino. Era they ask questions. Nze kisinga kuntwalira biseera is listening to people's questions and trying to answer them. Ezira center gy'otuukamu nigabula bakubuuza bibuuzo. So attitude eyo eyavwa mu kiri ekyokwetya ne batandika okuba nga bavaayo batandika okuba interested mu bijja mu maiso mu igwanga lyaife.
What majorly do they ask you about? Which questions do they ask you about?
Ab'ebuyende, they ask about economics. They rarely ask you about politics. Kubanga beyendera Museveni waiwe. I'm telling you the truth. So wazira kyakumubuuza kubuuza ati alidda kuliye ne Buyende.
You mean ab'ebuyende tibakubuuza why did Museveni rig Bobi Wine's presidency? They don't know that?
God forbid.
They know that it happened?
Maybe they know, but it is irrelevant to them. It's
not one of the questions you ask. They are not bothered about having voted for someone else and then being led by someone else.
Buyende, ndeka.
The people in Buyende don't mind that they voted for someone else and they are led by a different person.
They love the Museveni. And when they see me, baba boine Museveni. And a message jembawa, mbawa message yani, ya Museveni. And they sit down and listen.
Okay, now that government ya Museveni, erimba minister, abayiba amabati, bayiba nembuzi de Karamoja. You as, what are you going to tell them? Message ya Museveni, kubyo kuiba amabati nembuzi, oja wakoboti.
Ntiogera kuebyo, nze kwogera kuya Buyende. Nze Buyende district na yagananga esabu amabati 15 from the office of the Prime Minister.
Did you get?
Ni honorable woman MP, yena yataye ekiwandiko. Just last week, no fishing kugaba amabati 522. We gave them to 10 schools. Tiga abwibi.
Yagatola
Office of the Prime Minister. Tiga abwibi.
Ataga Office of the Prime Minister. Guide Buyende under what vote now?
Under what vote?
Because Busoga.
Rehabilitation.
Rehabilitating Busoga.
Disaster.
Does Busoga have a vote on Busoga rehabilitation?
It should have. Why shouldn't it? Because the guy that gakuba Buyende gasansula amasomero gatola amabati and the report went. And that was the response.
So in Buyende, you have been distributing 520 iron sheets.
I did last Thursday. From the office of the Prime Minister?
Yes. Have you bothered to find out whether that was part of the Karamoja consignment?
Why would I bother to find out?
Why would you not bother?
Why should I bother to find out? Ngoli banko ya eyale yetasinga yakatukuwa ile kuga Karamoja. Why do you give us Karamoja things? Era age Karamoja gumuli kwogera kuwenga gana abantu awandi. I'm going to ask.
So ni guno omukolonga muligaba amabati.
Ogubwine.
Yes, nga muligaba amabati. So those iron sheets can confirm government office ya Prime Minister. Nga mulikugawa
amasomero.
Bana ba amasomero.
Twaita chairman management ni head teacher. On behalf of the school, baga picking up office ya planner, however gatolera.
This is the woman MP Nakato.
She was there. Chairman was there.
Chairman YC5.
DEO was there. Cow was there.
So who brought these iron sheets to you?
To me.
To your district?
Office of the Prime Minister. Tine MP yagaleta. tini nze wange buyende bukyanjayo ebiva mu office of the prime minister bankowa tulikuleeta oba bankowa ati tulese ayenga emirundi esatu gye bakaleeta bankowa tulikuleeta and I'm there to receive.
Who signed the delivery note?
Huh?
Who signs the delivery note?
Normally who signs the delivery note is the cow, not me. Nze ogwange to observe bituuse bibakobye nebyo kai munde tati mubigaba naja nabaawo twagaba
sebuyende mwagaba mati bitanu
na abiri.
This is you now and buyende.
I look like him.
Okay.
So ebintu bino byaba nze bali kuogera byobogere byekaramoja nze ayenge wange ebyange byatuuka ebyo buyende era n'oyenda aninge ku byekaramoja ndina okunonereza ino kuba TV oba bayiba ate galiko statement gye nawulira eyansanusa mwali muli kuwaya mwaka muti Dr. Kiseka abamu wa ministry ya Luweero Triangle yajoko yagana nga Luweero Triangle is bigger than the actual Luweero. Buli kitundu ekyali kifunye obuzibu mu lutalo kyaba part of Luweero Triangle.
Yes.
Ni Busoga yalimu.
Luweero Triangle includes Mukono.
Ni Busoga yalimu. Plano Karamoja muyinza okuba nga timunoniza definition ya Karamoja as far as the office of the prime minister is concerned.
Say that again.
Kyendi kukoba muyinza tiriko nti bwekiri. Nga modifining Karamoja.
It could be that under the office of the prime minister when you talk about Karamoja, you mean all affected areas.
Galige ekigaita abali affected nga Karamoja bweyali and therefore nga bali entitled ku mabati.
Is that what it is?
That is what I'm saying, not what it is. Nze guno omuntu endese gwanga mu studio yo. So ndi kuwa kirendowooza.
So could be mistaken that Karamoja in the language of the prime minister's office means all areas that need relief.
Before we begin shouting, we should exhaust to any information yet to mala kucho.
Why are the ministers who took these sheets not saying so? You think they didn't know what they were doing?
Are all those ministers so foolish that they wouldn't know that stealing is bad? Abantu abo abasomi bona abo abagezi abo bakona ivinga bukona ivinge kwabula kwavuako bati. There is something behind that thing.
You're not aware that one of them built a pigsty?
Yeah,
using the same iron sheets.
That would be the abnormality. Singa ninza agebuyende bagaleeta nakanti mumpe ku ntwale ebuka na kunzimbira embuzi dange ekiyumba. That would be an abnormality and everyone could condemn that. But wagabanga gatuuka yegali supposed okutuuka. There is nothing wrong with that.
So you see nothing wrong with someone in Bunyoro sharing part of what was supposed to be relief in Karamoja.
If you defined for me Karamoja wero, because when you defining obulungi nga Bunyoro ebaire efaanana ekizibu kirala ne Karamoja bagigangi njiragalalawo nga bwe kyali Luweero.
I like the way you people tune yourselves to defend this.
Defending what?
It's, I think,
you
train yourselves to defend.
Ababali okubona bona apo. Naka ndoza naka meetinga ku omuntu mulala. Rebeka itwala kadaga. Abasigaire obona mbalengera bulengere.
Yafuna ku ebitano yale.
So kuba ku defending yo gonna defending nzi basigaire otibayigo. So I'm not defending anyone. Ezira.
Do you see anything wrong in the reports you get from the Prime Minister's office about these iron sheets? Do you find anything wrong?
Do they give me reports?
They don't.
I give out and I report. Tibe mwampa na distributing abiao.
That's your role.
Prime Minister's office tempandikira konko bamuti kodingeri konko anti amabati agaba iriyo gabwe mugaize. Otherwise it doesn't report to me how it distributes, how it works. Nze reporting byenko byokola.
So in receiving this iron sheet go from Nebuyende, who called you to receive?
The chairperson.
Of who? The chairperson of the district? I thought the Prime Minister's office called you to say we are bringing.
Mana, on copy to receive. The man anti kuida. Nze neteekateeka okureceiving bituuka wankati bikoze eki bituuse. Mulimo gwa kumanya byebako byate biri kuidana ebyo. Yes. Mubitaawo paka tunabigaba. Lwe tuli kujjo bigaba. I have to verify bitwalekaga none ebyo. Yes. And then we give out. Bitugabye bibalansinga nje twasaba. Finished.
As another this, how do you explain to your masses the endemic corruption in the government you represent?
In the government you represent, the endemic corruption in Uganda. Because by saying government, you want to exonerate yourself. Always at one time, one day you are not in government, therefore you are not corrupt.
So what does say corruption in Uganda?
Masawa, yali mweni RC, yakati all Ugandans are corrupt through and through. Bamubingamu. But before 2 years could pass, people had started singing about corruption. So iwo yendo okwetwala mu olwaleero either oyinza okugwa mu kituli kya corruption. Because we are all susceptible to being corrupt. Abasinga bungi mulowooza nti president nedda ni corruption we yamuleeta mu Uganda. Bukyamba ne ba president ngoli buli omu ajja n'owuwe ngoli mwaweesa corruption. Mwakaba ne ba president ono wamwenda. Kitegeeza nti corruption is yours. Baida bamwagaana ano bamugwamu bamwevulungamu mwababinga bagola mwaleeta owundi yevulungamu corruption wemu.
So you want to exonerate government from corruption? That is, you want to say it is the masses that are corrupt, government emitted corrupt?
Mpira ano kankubuuze. Imwe abajja mu government gye mweta government bajjaga bavwalu iki?
Bava ife abantu.
So unless you are the people who are corrupt, then you know okubaawo owundi ali corrupt. Nga yewa ife bavaayo tibalungi baatuuka eyo baayonooneka. But nze ndidi nti bavaayo waife eno tibabi baatuuka eyo bagezaako n'okubatereezaayo baasigayo obubi bwe bagire nabo. That is what it is. Omuntu alina corrupt mind yaithi nti omulonzi gwendi suppose okuwa services musimbya line namuwa 10 yampa akaluluke kumwembi nani alikwenda ulo kumwine agabye 10 n'alutwaire no waya akalulu.
Okay, let's talk about corruption in your own areas of jurisdiction, where you sell jobs, the service commission sell jobs, teachers pay for transfers, and how have you dealt with that?
Ekirungi Simon Yondidi. I came from a very poor background. Ndidi obwavu obwokubula sente kitegeeza. And I feel bad ngeri omuntu ali mu mbeera nga gye nali muku nga ayikubonabonezebwa. I don't want to hear about that. Nja nalingirira abantu bewange eyo byende ntimbako nti muli corrupt mubene. Omuntu ayidyo ku nsonga ya itaka ali kwenda ojo omuterereze by'itaka bamukoti nja kuidda. Azira sente ayikwenda byambi kumuterereza by'itaka wali kumutuluguni. Kai yaka amafuta gaga nombo ayikwenda akuweye emitwalo 5.
Oh, there are people who come with money.
Oh,
to the RDCs.
If you don't have a heart like this one of mine, bakukube ekigumu lunaku luti.
Or they come with they propose to you.
They propose
that I have transport for
undi
you.
Aleta transport, undi aleta chai.
Chai.
I don't take tea ni buyende. So ange munwa mafubira abo bukana.
Kati akachai kaka.
Chai uno.
Idanako.
And when you embarrass them, they get annoyed.
What
please,
is?
Please.
When you refuse the money, they get annoyed with you.
Yeah, I'm telling you. They get annoyed. Abantu batandika n'okubuuza omusaadde oyo esente agitoolaga edira mmotoka mafuta buli lunaku tasabaako sente.
Hey.
So that one is outside.
Do you want to tell me that when they give you this fuel facilitation, the citizens you serve, you refuse it?
There is a facilitation. The citizen.
Yes. Do you refuse it?
The citizen is supposed to facilitate me?
I mean, it is tradition. It is culture for you.
Change is supposed to come facilitating is maybe the departments when we go for work to do. For example, if we are going to monitor projects, we have our center to district to cover monitoring. Always in assigning it. But I've never gone to the cow to say, Ntindibu be mumpe kwa mafuta. Me, pull.
I'm looking at citizens. Omuntu ali kwendo ye muyambe ensonga yitaka yakuwa esente because oli musogoti nize. It is not culture to refuse kyebakuwa ero lya waloba kuba kweraga
Simon culture is dynamic. Nze mpira nabwikulirwa n'abananga kibino omuntu okukuwa esente ngoka ina kukola mulimo. It is almost a bribe. Nakisoma tendi police training nakati omuntu ayinza okuwa enkoko today aye nga ali kujja kusaba ekintu ky'ojja okutya okuloba omuwa because yakuwa enkoko yegajirya. So first ask yourself questions, lwaki ayikumpa enkoko nga tisabiye enkoko? That's how people fall into traps. That's how people fall into traps. Kubanga mubali kukuwa esente toyidhigwe batumie.
So odiroba kubotya mwizo kwa mgwa batumie.
Tina kutya principal Simon. Me am a satisfied man. Sente ndenda. But indeed Kazambi ali mwebye bintu. So I didn't know for this. I had a job and I was getting more money than I'm getting as an RDC. So tiaja kujja kugwidubanira sente. I went there for service. Hey, ask the people of Obiende. They will tell you. Because
I'm looking at a scenario that it is not you who is asking for the money, but somebody offers and says, Mr. RDC, idakwe waifo tuyambe tuyina ekizibu kino aya amafuta gagano.
Mpirano kiwuli kikakitya nga buli mwezi bampa amafuta. Aika inaja na agatolani mu bantu.
The office of the presidency does not stop you from that.
Wanji?
They refuse it, they don't.
But my morals don't.
I mean, how immoral would you be if you took 50,000 from a citizen?
I would be very immoral.
How? When
very immoral. Very immoral.
What would Amos Rugorobi be? The one who took out his to build a pigsty.
I would define myself. He can define himself also. When you get him, maybe double immoral.
Baba TV, the World Cup at 9. Ni David Kulaba Isabiri. Have you registered cases of people selling jobs at the Service Commission? Have you dealt with any in Buyende?
Incidentally, tukali kubayo na milimo since I went there.
Mukali kubayo na milimo.
Tukali kubayo na interviews dona. So I've not seen one, I've not had one.
But
I'm preparing myself when it comes. I'll be on board to make sure it doesn't happen.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kulaba. Kubanga, is Museveni's government corrupt?
Huh?
Is Museveni's government corrupt?
I said we are corrupt.
Now answer the question. Gabi want to read questions carefully and answer. You said read questions carefully and answer accordingly. That's what I'm looking at. Is Mr. Museveni's government corrupt?
Singo mbuzi zoti Mr. Museveni corrupt. Going akuizemu ira, but since you tell me government, I want to show you your inclusion in the government.
Okay, is Mr. Museveni corrupt?
No.
Is Mr. Museveni's government corrupt?
Probably, if you were included in the government.
I am not in the government.
Eh?
I'm not in the
What
government.
is the government?
No, I'm not in the government.
What is the government?
I'm not in the government. I'm not in the government. No, I have applied to be Prime Minister, right? That's when I'll be part of government. I'm not part of government. So is Mr. Museveni's government corrupt?
Mwedachiranga chegadumire. Government nifwe.
I'm not in the government.
So you are government. Because those ones up there are your representatives. So the power belongs to you and you give them the power. So long as you are corrupt, the government will be corrupt.
Let's have a short break. Ndi omugeni wange lero Hot Cup at 9 ni David Kulaba Isabirye, Resident District Commissioner wa District ye Buyende, atera omukwaba bakubagani b'ebiduubo ku mikutu ejenjawulo. Mr. Kulaba ono, at the time Mr. Kulaba taught me between 1993 and 1996, he subscribed the Uganda People's Congress. And later, I think for purposes of survival, left the Uganda People's Congress to the National Resistance Movement. Do you ever regret leaving UPC?
I wish you could understand the appearance and the reality and their difference.
Tell me. That's why I brought you here.
I taught you to do that. So you should know the difference.
Do you ever regret leaving UPC?
I taught you after training as a police officer, as an NRM. I was sent away from Chira College in 1984 because of the NRM.
NRM?
Yes.
1984?
Yes.
Did we have NRM in 1984?
It was in the bush.
That was NRA. That was the rebel outfit.
NRA was the...
That was the rebel outfit.
The armed wing of the NRM.
You had no NRM. There were no political structures of that. That was a rebel group. Don't even talk about it, because when you talk about it, you remind us of the atrocities that the rebel outfit then committed and also the unelected government of Milton Obote.
I wish you lived at that time before me.
Unfortunately, no.
I wish you one day, as a young man putting on shorts and a white shirt from Chira College Boutique, could be dumped the way I was dumped in a pothole full of dirty water.
What had you done?
Nothing.
Simply
because I was a student.
Obote's government was so good that it could not do those atrocities. They just get you and dump you in a pit.
God help me. So it was that.
Say what you did to be dumped in the
I didn't do anything.
No.
What do you think I could do?
There is no sober government that can simply pick a student, putting on white shorts and a white shirt from Kira College Butiki without any reason, go and dump you in the dirty water.
I don't want to remember some of the things. We can go to another thing.
No, we want to stick to that.
We shouldn't. It is part of my experience.
What had you done?
It will never be yours. I done
You could have been a student, participating in political activism that was against government.
What would be wrong with participating in political activism?
As a student?
What would be wrong?
So did you participate in political activism?
I did.
Then that's the reason you were picked.
And so I deserved that?
No, because you are carrying you are carrying more than what you are supposed to carry. You are a student, you're supposed to do your studies.
Ask what you want about the NRM.
I wanted to ask about UPC. Because I remember the time you left, you and Eric Sakwa left UPC. And the statements then were that you had seen the light. Are you enjoying the light?
Did Eric Sakwa ever see me in UPC? Ask him whether we ever interacted with him.
He did not, but he was part of UPC.
But then
you are the people who saw light.
If I were a part,
are you enjoying the light?
He would have known me. There was light and there is still light in the NRM.
The NRM. What was the darkness in UPC? The one you said you are in darkness, you have now seen light. What was dark there?
You see, if you're a student of history, one wants to dodge and say history does not repeat itself. Different actors do the same things that others did. But in a line of Uganda's history, there has been corruption. What we have been seeing here, impunity has been there. And so it was dark.
In UPC?
It was dark.
There was corruption in UPC?
Yes.
More than there is in NRM?
I've not gauged yet, but I think yes.
Mr. Kulaba?
Yes.
Did Obote's government ever fail to deliver relief to its people?
Did anybody ever tell the army that you have the guns, don't ask me for money? When I have the guns, use them to get it.
Who said that?
Now, why are you bothering me?
Tell me.
You would have equipped yourself before you called me to the studio because you expect
that a government.
You ask me hard questions.
These are things you people have said to kill Obote's legacy, but it is not recorded anywhere that Obote ever told soldiers that you have the guns, don't ask me for salary. Use the guns to get salary.
Is all that you know recorded? Leave it at that.
So now you're living in the world of light, the NRA.
We are better than we were.
There.
Yes.
And when you read issues like we have talked about, these issues of corruption and issues of torture, for example, images of people tortured Just the other week we had someone tortured whose chest had been burnt by a hot object, I think similar to a flat iron. We have hundreds of people assembled at the National Unity Platform headquarters in Kamocha as fatherless children and husbandless women.
Did you get the torturers?
Security organs.
Did you get them?
Not yet.
So who tortured?
The security organs.
What evidence do you have?
That's what the victims say.
What
I was taken to a safe house, I was beaten, I was...
What do they have? Hey, Simon, when I link what
other evidence do I want other than the torture marks?
When I link muto, nga nakamalanga senior 6 oba waliwo omwami oba yali mukiibi yazaana omuzaano amakamazibu.
Makamazibu, yes. I remember.
I remember yalina abakyala babiri, omukulu n'omuto. Mpirano omukulu yayenda okudibya omuto. Yatoola ku engine ya mukiibi nga buli lwatuuka eno ow'omukulu no gas. Waira ye ew'omuto yakola. And the answer was mukazi woyo yakuloga takayenda obe ninze eno. Aye nga mwene ne yakola ki?
Yatoola ku engine.
Ne yatoola ku engine. At the end of the day bagoboole. Kuba n'omulogo. You understand the logic there?
Yes.
Hey. So in a country like Uganda, a lot of things may happen. And until you get the real torturers, you would better keep quiet.
Can we speak straight? You know certainly that the torturers cannot be from the opposition.
That is what
you cannot
you
be in
think.
opposition and you torture fellow opposition.
That is what you think. That is what you think. Tubare kuni scenarios da abantu nga akuuma banka yakati muide munku ba masasi omukono tutwale esente. Tobiwulirangako. And in a country like Uganda, where you have security agencies that are not uniformed, anybody can become one.
There are reports. There are people who, there are agencies here, the Human Rights, Uganda Human Rights Commission, the Foundation for Human Rights Initiative, and others that have carried out reports and brought evidence that security organs here torture people.
And who are they? Because the whole security organ cannot go and do that. Individuals in security organs, have you identified them?
How do you expect a civilian to identify a soldier?
Then why does he belong there? Those agencies should be given to security.
But have you looked at these tortured victims?
I have.
And what comes to your mind?
It is bad.
So?
It is bad. And I condemn it if it is government. But even if it were not a government and somebody else was doing it to make the government bad, I would still condemn it. Because torture is bad.
Why do you think anybody would sit there?
Nze kankukobere Simon. Nibwe bwaba mpisa okunfumita ku olwala luno. I feel like I will be bad the whole day. Nibwe mba kusala luku muntu yekereta nekola ki? Nensalaku. So buli lwenengi ate nze ndi emotional. Buli lwenengirira omuntu nga ine kiwundu nti bamukubye bamochicha. I begin crying.
You must prepare to cry.
Because I shouldn't be interested in the torture. But my contention is...
But we have Ugandans who have been tortured.
Yeah, we have them. And who is doing it?
Your government should be telling us. Your government should be telling us who is torturing citizens. It is their inherent duty to investigate.
You and me want to know who. Let us ask the government to tell us who.
And I have government with me seated right here.
I serve in government. Not government when it comes to
torture. But when you are giving out iron sheets in Uyende, you are government.
I'm in government.
But when it comes to tortured victims,
you are not I don't government. Want to be associated. In fact, if I'm telling you, if my government did that, I wouldn't have a reason to be in it.
But it does. It does.
You have not.
Your government tortures people.
You have not proved to me that it does. So if you can prove to me, it will help me to make a question.
President Yoweri Museveni managed to skip a slight win in the recent presidential elections, I think the 2021 presidential elections, What the facts are is that out of the 11 districts of Busoga, the some 7 managed to win 3, and Buyende is among those 3 that he won very well, and he lost in 8 districts. I would imagine that Buyende, the threat of the opposition is not much more about the National Unity Platform, but about these young people who remain unemployed, about the young people who have nothing to do, about the young people whose problems your government has failed to answer. Look at opposition in that. Trying to.
Yes.
The challenges.
Because, I mean, some of the things are not a one-day affair. That you wake up one day and there's no unemployment in the. No. It's a process that should be addressed one by one. Population is better than population etasomia. Because okubangulwa okulowooza waida than omuntu atakoze atasomia, and allow information very helpful. It becomes easy to think mu mitwe egyo ejajja ku isomero. So we wouldn't wait for okuba abo abantu gwasobola ofunamu emirimu meni nimutandikako nti mujje ku isomero musome. We would rather have them educated and without jobs. Ngaye ogwida nigukwagana osobola okola ki ogukola. Simon nali mukulu. Some of these people from Western Uganda bemukwa muti bali bulungi balinga n'empapula zaibwe during that regime. Ngaye emirimu gyonna giri oti bwe giri giti nga gizirawo. Era abasinga bungi babanga mu katalo mu Jinja Central Market ewaife. Abandi nga batunda bukutiya, abandi nga batyo. When things changed, they brought out their papers because they had them. If abaali tukaali twatandika olw'okulowooza n'alisomya ekintu gundi. So nigano, there is nothing wrong, totally wrong with having abasomyi nga bazira ki mirimu. Ate bazira mirimu gye benda, batigalire emirimu gye basobola okola.
You have said there is nothing wrong.
Totally wrong. Abasomi nga bazira mirimu gye benda. Aye nga basobola okubaawo egindi gye baalikoze bagirekkako bati gye baasoma.
You see nothing wrong.
Nothing totally wrong. Simon, wasoma ki?
Nasoma obusomesa n'amawulire.
Mpera oti olikola obusomesa ti bwasooka bw'oli kukola. So wakusoma obusomesa wabona nga galiga ekindi kyosobola okola watandika n'okukikola mega ajja kwisomera okukisoma ti bwe kiri.
That's true.
That's what I'm talking about. You should have a round mind, not a stuck one. Nasoma obusomesa, therefore butaba busomesa, there is nothing else that I want to think of doing. Kola ekiriwo era oba osobola okujja okisoma jja okole ki okisome. I remember one day Simon Wankova ankoti nga nko yenasoma ebintu bingi waliwo statement gye bakozesa.
I said primitive accumulation of academic papers.
Primitive accumulation of academic papers. Yes. And I almost laughed at you because you didn't understand. The combination of papers that I have makes me brighter than what I was. Kuba bondagana nga titamire oyinza obutafuna ekibuuzo kyombuuza kiine makwiramu. Because every field ndiyo tindiyo.
I thought yours was I don't know what to call it, a gambling spree. It was a gambling spree. It was what do you know? What would I call it? Kwetega.
It was looking for the best combination that can allow me survive in this country.
No, for today it will be a kwetega. No, why? Because you were a banker, you're a professional.
I
banker.
am.
You're a professional teacher.
I am.
You are a social worker.
I am.
What is the other? You are a police.
I'm a finance
police
manager. I am.
You're a finance manager.
Aye.
Now all those things, you
And
understand?
that combination of them makes me survive in present Uganda.
And imagine that. How do you feel after all those, the collection of all those qualifications, you are dumped in the end as RDC?
I mean, is there any one of them that is not interconnected to give me knowledge to
Did
be
you
an
need all
RDC?
those to be
I
RDC?
do. I do.
Do RDC
Nsomesa.
have all that?
Ebyende. Nsomesa abantu ebyesente ndina okuba nga mbitegeera. Nsomesa abantu ebyenkulankulana nabisoma. I'm head of security in the district. I mean, look, who can best be an RDC?
Have you started campaigning for Mr. Museveni for the 2026 elections? Or is it true you people, the RDCs, are campaigning? Because people tell us that you have started preparing people's minds.
Campaigns are organized by the Electoral Commission, and it has a roadmap.
Are you not campaigning for Mr.
When
Museveni?
it comes, I will do. Time ojetulimu ya manifesto implementation. So we are doing service delivery. Abanumirwa service delivery nga yibone tutambula bulungi balimu wakalu when time comes ya campaign. But as for now,
you're not campaigning for Mr. Museveni?
Please, no.
Okay.
Because campaigns are not on. I may talk about Mr. Museveni in terms of service delivery and manifesto implementation,
okay, but
not in campaigns.
Talking about him, is he best suited to stand again in 2026? Would you support him if he stood?
I, as an individual,
yes,
I do support him.
To stand again?
It is not would me support. I do support him.
You support him?
I do.
To stand again?
I do.
With all these wrongs you read in the papers and all that you see, I've shown you some cases of torture. I've shown you the thuggery in the Iron Sheet saga. You still believe Mr. Museveni can?
For all the wrongs you hear the world over, is it Museveni ruling everywhere where there are wrongs?
The hot cup at 9, David Kulaba Isabirye, the resident district commissioner Owebuyende. Nenda kwebaza because of your quality time. Thank you for being here. I hope Abebuyende bali kunumirwa byokola. There is this talk of Tobacco Main. Is it there also? Do you hear people talk about it?
Buyende.
In Buyende, Tobacco Main.
It is part of the community rhetoric these days.
You hear them say so?
I do.
Tobacco Main.
I do.
You know what it means?
And I don't disturb them.
Do you know what it means? Do you know what it means?
Whom do they send Tobacco Main?
Muzeyi Museveni.
Aliko Main. If he's on the main, then he should stay there because that's where people want him. Bwana avuga ku 2026 ye kutukanka iba munonya bunonya ajire. He should stay on the main. Bamwagana okukulule.
Sigale ku main.
Bamwongere.
Are you also convinced that the opposition, the voices in the young people are that Mr. Museveni should retire in favor of a young person to perform better?
Performance is not about...
I know you as a realist.
Performance is not about...
You as a realist.
Performance is not about biology. It is about ideology. So if the younger people don't have the right ideology, please wait.
Muganga muka Monday to Friday. Ulale tushobo tujimaliriza ni David Kulaba Isabirye, the resident district commissioner owe Buyende atenga azaliwa Bukanako. Kwe bali kwida berezo naku olulungi. Nze Sir Simon Muyanga Lutaaya.
This is Hot Cup at 9 with Sir Simon